After a long and strenuous hike in the Rwenzori Mountains National Park, my driver and I jump into the truck and head out to our next destination, Queen Elizabeth National Park. With only a few precious hours of daylight left, we drive to our campsite called Simba Safari Camp, which is 1.5 kilometers outside of Kasisi and literally on the edge of the national park and wildlife reserve. The camp is well away from civilization, but clearly visible from the road. Simba Safari Camp is a new facility, having been built in the last few months, and it's geared towards budget-conscious travelers, as its accommodations are simple and basic. The camp boasts of being green and eco-friendly, and uses solar heaters to provide guests with hot water. I was impressed, as the water was very hot. With a bit of daylight left before sunset, I decided to explore the campsite and its surrounding areas. I was warned not to venture too far from the camp, as dusk is hunting time for lions, and they've been known to venture into the camp looking for food and an easy meal. I'm the only person at the camp, and sit on a hill overlooking the national park and see big thunderhead clouds raining across the reserve. I sit back and enjoy the show. The sun finally sets and the mosquitoes are out in force. I pack up my gear and head back to camp. I pass by the dining area and there's still no other tourists except for me. So I'll make my way to my room, which is lit by a lantern, and call it a day.
Wednesday, April the 15th. Just woke up this morning. I stayed in a solar-powered hotel. The lights and the water are all solar-powered, and the lights are powered by batteries through photovoltaic batteries. So in the middle of the night we lose power, and that's why I'm wearing the headlamp. So when I woke up this morning, I could see and get around. And then the hot water is generated by solar-powered heaters. So the water came out really, really hot. I was surprised. Actually, the water was scalding, so I had to be careful. And now we're going to go out to the game reserve in a bit.
I finish the last bites of breakfast, swing down the rest of my coffee, and jump into the truck. We drive down the road, newly paved for the tourist trade, to the village at the bottom of the hill. The park is huge, 5,000 square kilometers or 1,900 square miles, and it was established in 1954. The park is named after Queen Elizabeth II and is known for its wildlife. Although many animals were killed in the Uganda and Tanzanian War of 1978, many species have recovered, including the hippopotamuses, elephants, leopards, lions, and chimpanzees. It is now home to 95 species of mammals and 500 species of birds. Although hyenas bear some physical resemblance to wolves and dogs, they make up a separate biological family that is more closely related to mongooses and meerkats. Hyenas have extremely strong jaws and a very powerful digestive system with highly acidic fluids, making them capable of eating and digesting their entire prey, including the skin, the teeth, the horns, and the bones. Because their digestive system is so acidic, they will not get sick from eating carrion. I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes and worse, tsetse flies, which hurt when stung and leave a nasty welt, not to mention the self-inflicted big bruises when trying to kill the flies when they're stinging you. I thought my guide and my camp attendants were joking when they said lions would wander into the camp looking for food. This line strolling outside the reserve near the village.
Yeah, they disappeared.
Have you got some?
Yeah.
Duwada stops at the ranger station to pay the entrance fee and register, as no one is supposed to be inside the reserve after dark. While he is busy at the station, I notice the mileage on his Toyota Land Cruiser. My next truck is definitely a Toyota. We're in the park and we're all alone, no other tourists. Duwada starts searching for everyone's favorites, the lions.
The group of buffalo we saw the last time before we entered the national park, they are all male. The male group normally used to be in the same group, in the big group. When they grow up and they become very old, the young male fight them and take them away from the group. So what they do, they decide to get their own group for the male only.
And tell me why we can't get out of the truck.
We can't get out of the truck because this is a national park. The national park is very dangerous. There's some animals which can hide in the grass you can't see. And the moment you get out of the truck, they can touch you. So like lions or leopard, even the cheetah. No, we have no cheetah here. Even the leopard. So we can't allow to get out from the truck. It's a risky. So for the good protection, you have to stay in the truck. That's why we open the roof and you stand from up there, so you can get a nice photo or a nice scene. So it's easy for you to protect yourself when you're inside the truck. Thank you. The name of animal?
The animal?
That's called water bug.
Water bug.
Yes, please.
Okay. What is the name of the cactus?
And in the local name, it's called enkukuru.
We continue our safari and push ever deeper into the dark and dangerous continent, expecting to see Wild Kingdom's Marlin Perkins around every corner. Duwada spots a pride of young lionesses sleeping in the tall grass and immediately calls someone on his cell phone. Within seconds, a fleet of tour buses converge on our spot. Duwada says it's professional courtesy to inform other tour guides. Lions spend much of their time resting and are inactive for about 20 hours per day. Although lions can be active anytime, their activity generally peaks at dusk with a period of socialization, grooming, and defecating. Intermittent bursts of activity follow throughout the night hours until dawn, when hunting most often takes place. They spend an average of 2 hours a day walking and about 50 minutes eating. Lionesses do a majority of the hunting for the pride, being smaller and swifter and more agile than the males, who are burdened by a heavy and conspicuous mane, which causes overheating during exertion. However, if nearby the hunt, males have a tendency to dominate the kill once the lionesses have succeeded and eaten. They are more likely to share with cubs than with lionesses, but rarely share food they've killed by themselves. There is more sharing of larger kills, although the pride members often behave aggressively towards each other as each tries to consume as much food as possible. The lion is a vulnerable species, having seen an irreversible population decline of 30 to 50% over the last 2 decades in its African range. Lion populations are unattainable outside of designated reserves and national parks. Although the cause of the decline is not fully understood, habitat loss and conflicts with humans are currently the greatest causes of concern. We are all fascinated and can't get enough. People start jockeying for better views of the lionesses and climb on the top of the buses and trucks. It's getting late and getting hot. The lions start heading into the bushes for shade and some respite from gawking tourists. Duwalda and I leave the lions and drive around a bit and find another herd of water buffaloes. It's not very exciting compared to lions, hyenas, and hopefully elephants. Yeah, you heard me the first time. I said elephants. We get back on the main paved road which borders the national park and head to our next field trip, Crater Lake and the Queen's Pavilion. Duwalda slams on the brakes and I fall out of my seat. He slows down and points out an elephant. It's a lone juvenile male, too young to be alone, which means the herd is not far behind. This is an African bush elephant, and they are different from the Asian elephants by the size of their ears, are larger, less hairy, and have a concave back. African elephants, both the male and the females have tusks, while the Asian elephants, only the males have tusks. I'm astonished to find elephants living so close to humans and especially not afraid to loud vehicles. With a mass just over 11 pounds, elephant brains are larger than those of any other land animal. Elephants have displayed a wide variety of behaviors, such as self-awareness, compassion, grief, altruism, play, use of tools, making music, evidence of an intelligence on par with cetaceans and primates. Another threat to the elephant's survival in general is the ongoing loss of their habitat, with increasing risk of conflicts of interest with human cohabitants. These conflicts kill 150 elephants and up to 100 people per year. Elephants are herbivores, spending 16 hours a day eating. They digest only 40% of what they eat. They make up for an inefficient digestive system by volume, eating 300 to 600 pounds of food a day.
No, forward, forward, forward. Go forward. Forward, please. Yeah. No, I want to film the tourist. I'm good.
Despite its cuddly cuteness, elephants are among the most dangerous animals in the world. They can crush and kill any other land animal, even rhinoceros. They can experience unexpected bouts of rage and can be vindictive. In Africa, groups of young teenage elephants attacked human villages in what is thought to be revenge for the destruction of their society by massive cullings done in the 1970s and 80s.
They're going to cross here soon.
Elephants live in a structured social order. The social lives of male and female elephants are very different. The females spend their entire lives in a tightly knit family group made up of mothers, daughters, sisters, and aunts. These groups are led by the eldest female or the matriarch. The adult males, on the other hand, live mostly solitary lives. Most immediate family groups range from 5 to 15 adults, as well as a number of immature male and females. When the group gets too big, a few of the elder daughters will break off and form their own small group. They remain very aware of which local herds are relatives and which are not. The life of adult male is very different. As he gets older, he begins to spend more time at the edge of the herd, gradually going off on his own for hours or days at a time. Eventually, days become weeks, and somewhere around the age of 14, the mature male or bull sets out from his own natal group for good. While males do live primarily solitary lives, they occasionally form loose association with other males. These groups are called bachelor herds. The males spend much more of their time than the females fighting for dominance with each other. Males spend much more of their time than females fighting for dominance with each other. Only the most dominant male will be permitted to breed with cycling females. The less dominant males must wait their turn. It's usually the older bulls, 40 to 50 years old, that do most of the breeding. What is interesting to me is to see how fascinated the locals are in seeing the wildlife as well. I had assumed they'd be bored at seeing this every day.
Okay, so the reason you did not turn off the engine of the truck was why?
Because they can charge us. There are many, they are old one, and I know they can charge us. So in case of trying to charge, I just move fast.
So how did you know that the elephants wanted to cross the road?
The elephants like to be in the shade, but the side where they was on the left-hand side, there was no tree, there was no bush, so they wanted to go to the other side because it looks like they like to go to the shade.
What we're looking at in front over there is the equator, right?
Yes.
So we're right at the equator.
On our way to the next field trip, we drive to Kasese and stop to resupply our dwindling supplies of sodas and potato chips, or crisps as they are known in Uganda. Duwalda asks if I'd like some nice stew for dinner, as the butcher has some fine looking goat meat hanging for sale.
What type of bird is that?
That is the long-crested eagle.
We finally arrive at Crater Lake. Unfortunately, we only have a couple hours of daylight left, so Duwalda starts to drive like a bat out of hell. We arrive at Crater Lake, and a herd of water buffaloes are gathered around the last few pools of stagnant, foul-smelling water, soaking and lounging to ward off the intense afternoon heat. The crater is impressive, and I imagine even more so when filled from monsoon rains. Night is falling fast across the savannah, so we leave the national park and head back to Simba Safari Camp. It's been an exciting day, and I am sad to be leaving as I remember what I saw and experienced today. But I am excited about tomorrow and what lies ahead.